decision that was made by Her Excellency the Governor, and that is, and she is even not there to confirm that that is still happening. So it's not true. That's what I'm saying. It's not true. On the issue of Dr. Gall, the dilapidated condition of the dispensaries, I'm not surprised because I know she is an activist of some kind. And obviously they were very, very upset because of the fact that they lost the cases in the court when the strikes were declared illegal. And in fact, through chair, they were even denied audience by the court. So consequently, I wouldn't be surprised as a human being, she has bitterness towards that effect, but that does not mean that's the truth, and you are welcome even to visit the county and confirm for yourself.
Senator Mpaye?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Governor. What was your name? Muriuki, County Secretary.
Thank you.
In your statement, you said about Kerogoya Level 4, Level 5 is equipped with broad and various new units, correct? Yesterday, we had a witness that stated that most of the treatments, palliative and curative, are currently being handled by the neighboring counties, county hospitals of Nyeri and Embu. Do you have the evidence to back up the current statement on the current service operations and employment of more staffs? 2, the functional state of the said existing facilities.
Witness, you may answer.
Through Chair, let me mention that the allegation that a lot of our patients are going to our neighboring hospitals, actually, through Chair and with respect, is actually contrary to the situation that we have been experiencing in the ground, because actually we know a lot of patients from other counties are the ones who have been patronizing our facilities. In terms of the functionality of Kerugoya County Referral Hospital, and any person can actually even confirm this, it is fully functional. And in fact, we are, as I mentioned, even we are offering even eye clinic services, and I can assure you it is fully functional.
Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I'm alive of the fact that we are supposed to restrict our questions within the borders of Mr. Muriuki's statement. However, given his position, Madam Chair, as a county secretary, I would wish you grant me permission to seek clarification on a matter that is not encapsulated in his statement. So I will be seeking your permission before I ask the question.
But is it relevant to the general charges that have been preferred against the governor?
Yes, it is.
Okay, if it is, I'll allow.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Joe Muriuki, there was an allegation brought forth by one of the witnesses yesterday that Kirinyaga County government has got no coffee shop in the United States of America. Can you attest to this committee? Do we have a coffee shop owned by the Kirinyaga County government in the United States of America? Do you know of such a shop?
Through Chair, of course you caught me off guard, but to be quite honest, I wonder whether I'm competent enough to respond to this, but I'm not aware.
You've shown this committee that you're well versed with information about the development agenda of the governor. You've stated about hospitals that have been done by the governor. You've stated about facilities that have been equipped, roads that have been done. So you want to tell this committee that you do not have any iota of information that there is a coffee shop in the United States owned by the Kirinyaga County government? Yes or no?
I'm not aware of any.
Thank you.
Senator Kajwang?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, County Secretary. You have the functions of your office, as you've told us, as stated in Section 44 of the County Governments Act and that of the Public Service Board in Section 59. Madam Chair, health is devolved and it's extremely important, and it is something that I wish even we had more time to get evidence from the county on how robust its health systems are. CS, you have put in your documents supporting your statement a letter dated 4th of July 2019, which is a media statement signed by the governor. My understanding of your functions and those of the County Public Service Board is that you're head of the County Public Service. Is that correct?
Yes, through Chair.
And together with the County Public Service Board, you have some dual responsibility to manage, administer the county public service.
Yes, through Chair.
And I would not expect the governor to give directives or instructions to members of the public service on issues that are contractual in nature.
Yes, through Chair.
The letter dated 14th of July, that is in your pack, the media statement, I believe you're aware of it. County Directive on Back-to-Work Terms for Health Workers in Kirinyaga County.
Senator Kajwang, is that in the responses or in one of the files?
It's in the supporting documents that have been referred to by the witness in his statement.
What file number was that?
It is a file marked health.
Are you? Can you give can somebody please give the witness so that he may be apprised of the?
He has referred to all these appendices in his statement.
Let's remind him.
It's a media statement dated 4th of July. Through the chair, Joe, we're on the same page?
Yes, thank you, through Chair.
You may proceed.
Okay, but the only thing I wanted to find out about this letter, in what capacity then was the governor issuing back-to-work instructions to health workers?
Through Chair, help me, let me please respond as follows. The governor, per Article 179 of the Constitution, is the CEO of the county. My understanding and simple interpretation is that as officers, we report to her in that capacity. And in fact, the county government goes ahead even to specify other functions that she may perform. So therefore, this statement to me, through Chair, it is in line with her duties as a governor. And in fact, the law also gives her the ability to do anything that helps to execute the functions of her office.
Thank you, Joe, because that is 179.4 that designates the governor as CEO and deputy governor as deputy CEO of the county, respectively, which I agree with. So it means that with leadership comes responsibility.
Yes, through Chair.
Meaning that sweeping power and role and duty of a governor as a chief executive officer would mean that if there were sectoral failings, then she would be expected to correct them as a chief executive officer. Because this was a sectoral failure. falling within your domain as county secretary and county public service board and health. She stepped in as CEO in accordance with the constitution. Is that right?
Yes, you are through chair.
Okay, that's fine. One thing I've seen a sign of leadership in this letter is a second last paragraph. Second last paragraph, where the governor says that going forward, she has requested the Senator of Kirinyaga County, Honorable Charles Kibiru, to convene sessions to address concerns in the health sector while bearing in mind the constraints faced by the county government, which I believe is a statement made by virtue of a position as Chief Executive Officer. Would you let us know, as a committee, what was the outcome of that initiative? Because you've adduced it as evidence to support your statement.
Through chair, let me mention something probably that may help to understand the background in terms of this letter. My understanding and interpretation of the prevailing situation at the time of the strike was actually there was a lot of political aspect. And it was actually the strike was taking a political direction. So my only assumption, and I don't know, is that that is the contextual framework within which this probably the comment was made, but Her Excellency the Governor probably would be in a better position to state further.
Well, since you are the one on the witness stand, maybe my final question, are there other competent bodies beside the Court of Law that have adjudicated this matter? Have these health matters come before the Senate, come before the County Assembly? And has there been any resolution in any of those bodies?
Only in terms of the court that it gave its final position.
The County Assembly? Has there been any inquiry into health issues in Kirinyaga?
Yes, I know, through chair, they have written.
But not resolved?
Not resolved, through chair.
The Senate?
I think through chair, this is the time that I'm seeing correspondence from Senate, to the best of my recollection, but I start guided.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, honorable members. Is there any other person that would, oh yeah, Senator Mbito, sorry about that.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Miruki, I think
Yes.
we met briefly when I visited you with the Senate Health Committee
Yes,
to Kirinyaga County,
yes.
and we discussed most of these things there. But let me not go that direction today. I want to, there's this folio, this thing you gave us, there's something inside the file that talks about Kirinyaga Investment Development Authority. Just very briefly, could you tell us what exactly this authority is? What is its legal status? Briefly, what does it do? And because I don't know why you put it here. I found it in this health file. And also, where is it domiciled? Does it have registered offices or what? It's in this same health file.
Yeah.
First document.
Yes, I have seen through chair about, and yes, for record purposes, yes, I'm sorry on this, why I said I started corrected. Yes, I do recall you came to the county during that time, so correction. And on regard of this KIDA, you asked where it is domiciled. I know that
What is the legal status, first of all?
there is a KIDA Act.
Is it a task force in authority? Is it a parastatal? What is it?
It's an authority which was established through an act of the County Assembly of Kirinyaga.
So where is it based?
It is based in Kirinyaga.
But those are the registered offices for this. Because I'm seeing all its meetings seem to be held at, does the county have an office in Nairobi? I'm seeing all the meetings of this board are being held at Delta House. Is that legal even?
We used through chair to have, the county used to have an office at Delta House, and probably that could explain the reason why some meetings were held there.
It does not have an office in Kirinyaga?
It also has.
Okay. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, just read it. Can I even see? Oh, sorry. Thank you very much. I think Senator Mugo has a question. Senator, can you hear us? Would you like to ask your question, or should we ask for you? Maybe you can give it to Chair to ask for her. One of the senators can. You're muted. You're muted. Senator Beth, you're muted. Okay. I think what we'll do, please give it to one of the. I think, Senator Mazai, would you like to ask a different question, or you'd like to ask for Senator Beth? She's trying, but we cannot hear her. So what we're going to...
If I can read, I don't know if I can see. Is it okay? Yeah. Or we give her an opportunity?
You read on her behalf, Chair.
Just read on her behalf.
Okay, it reads, Senator would like to ask a question. One, there has been claims that the governor used intimidation and coercion to influence the hiring of staff in the county government, and that she should be held responsible for the firing of health workers around the time of the strike. Please clarify who in the county government is directly and ultimately responsible for appointments and dismissal of staff, and at what point, if at all, the governor becomes involved in this process.
Thank you, Chair. Witness, you may answer.
Through chair, I'm not aware of the coercion that is mentioned thereof, and I have not seen any complaint from any officer in my position channeling such a complaint. I've also not been supplied with any document substantiating that. Therefore, I do not know, I'm not aware of that coercion, but that is not the character of Her Excellency the Governor, whom I know through interaction. In terms of the appointment and dismissals, through chair once again, the County Government Act actually makes it very clear in terms of which officers can be fired by who. For example, the public officers, and especially as defined under Section 2 of the County Government Act, gives that mandate to the County Public Service Board through Section 59, and in fact, even to some extent from 63. In terms of the other officers like the CECs and the County Executive Committee members, those ones I know, and the governor has some power, and vis-a-vis also through the county the county assembly. So it depends on what specific position, but for the normal county public officers, that is the work of the County Public Service Board.
Thank you, witness. Senator Mazayo, did you want to say something? Or? Okay, please go for it.
Thank you. My question would be, not my question, my clarification I'm seeking from you would be based on the employees. To me, you have fired, not fired, but the medical staff have found themselves, their services being terminated, and then some being employed, there's a huge turnout of employment and then termination. From 500 to again additional, from a staff of 1,260, then you fire 500, then I don't know, you employ again, and then there's reinstatement. So what I'm concerned about, I'm not concerned about the number of medical staff you employ, but I'm only concerned with this huge turnout of dismissal of health workers. Does it affect the performance of the medical staff or the morale, according to you as the CS? And the second question would be, I'm also concerned about the payment of dues to those employees who did not go back to work. Have they been paid their dues? All of them. Because it looks like there's a bit of some challenges between how you sort out the people who have been employed and what happens to those ones who have not been reinstated and they're still out there, whether they have been paid. And finally, the medical situation or the health situation of facilities in Kirinyaga, the picture painted by the two eminent doctors from Kirinyaga and who are very senior and occupying very senior positions, clearly stated that the situation in Kirinyaga was deplorable. I don't know whether you are a doctor, and if you are not, whether you'd find yourself qualified to state that the state of affairs in Kirinyaga, particularly on health, is fair. I can see there's an encouragement from your statement that you're putting up quite a number of buildings like ICU, HDU, and so forth. You're doing a commendable job. But I'm saying currently, as it is before this takeoff, what is the current situation according to your own opinion? Not opinion, clarify. As you're not a doctor, whether the situation is as pathetic as the way it was stated by the doctors who said the state of health facility is deplorable. Thank you, Chair.
So you may respond.
Through Chair, thank you. There are three questions. One you mentioned in terms of the dynamics instead of the dismissal and the hiring of new staff, and I can understand basically what your concern could be. But through Chair, it is important to understand that the situation that the county government was faced in was left with no option. There were two possibilities. Either you give up and let the situation go out of control completely with the residents not getting healthy services, or the county government takes an action. As I did mention before, various efforts were made to try to get the healthy workers to understand the consequences of going on strike and even continuously refusing to abide by a competent court of law ruling. Notices were even issued. We went out of our way issuing notices to the employees, public announcements, and all those they actually ignored. So, Honorable Senator, by the time the decision was made, we did not have a situation at all because they had refused to resume office. The public needed services, so something had to be done. The court had already ruled. So it's not like we would have wanted to go that route, but circumstances were such that a decision had to be made at one point or another. In terms of the morale, I must mention this. Since then, we have also tried to increase the level of engagement with the health workers. I actually forgot to mention, although it's there in my write-up, we have even employed health managers on full-time basis who are interacting with them. We are having regular meetings with them and even trying to address their concerns. So I think that in terms of the morale, I am actually confident that it is good. In terms of the dues for the employees who did not resume work, my recollection is that at the point where they decided to go on unprotected and illegal strike, they had already been paid up to that point. But after the termination, the way I understand law is this: they ceased, technically speaking, being employees of the county government. Now, the county executive is quite limited in terms of what it can do, especially when the workers have been dismissed, because that obligation and that mandate actually moves from the County Public Service Board, and per Section 77 of the County Government Act transfers it to another body, which is PSC. I'm aware through Chair that even the Public Service Commission wrote to the County Public Service Board asking them to make recommendations to the PSC and for the PSC to make determination. I'm not aware whether they complied or they didn't. So that one I'm not aware. In terms of the budget, there is a challenge that, as I did mention, workers have already been hired up to more or less the pre-strike staff complement. So consequently, any additional staff would pose budgetary challenges. So that is an issue that is beyond just saying, let the people go back to the office, besides that there may be legal aspects. So it's not an issue. On the issue of the deplorable state, through Honorable Senator, the good thing is that I'm also, besides being an employee or somebody working in Kirinyaga County, I'm also a resident. I am interested in having a good work environment. Let me mention this. I know you mentioned I'm not a medical doctor, and true indeed, I'm not. But may I also wanted to mention this? I am one person who believes that there are universal skills of management. And in fact, basically there are management experts who would define the technical, HR, and even conceptual skills. Those help any person to work in various settings. Before I came back to Kenya, I've held very senior positions out both locally and overseas with international and reputable companies. And at one time, I also worked in the health sector. So I'm aware about what a clean health environment is, because myself, I was a long-term healthcare nurse at one time or another. So I'm familiar with that one. So I can tell, and two, I can assure you, even if you came and visited the hospital, you understand that with the limited resources that we have, really there is a great improvement in the county.
I will come. Thank you. I thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. Council for the Kirinyaga Assembly, you had your hand up. Getting my attention? Council, you had something
Chair,
before I overruled you.
I was seeking for your directions because I have an application to make that pursuant to the conclusion of the proceedings and noting the lengthy and the documents referred to, I know that I was supposed to make my closing statement immediately that we conclude these proceedings. I find it humanly impossible to collate the evidence as I sit here. And so I was seeking for a break of only 30 minutes to allow me sit and collate.
We already had made provisions for that.
Much obliged.
Of 20 minutes, but based then on your application, we may make it the 30 so that we give you the fair chance to collate your information as you requested. Honorable members, parties, thank you very much. I think witness, thank you very much. You've done your civic duty. You've done whatever it is that you needed to do to aid this committee. So we thank you very much, and we will release you now. And what we'll do is we'll take half an hour's break for each of the parties to prepare their closing statements. So this committee will take leave or break for those 30 minutes, and will reconvene here exactly or promptly at 5:25. So let's be here at 5:25 to allow the two parties to prepare their statements, after which then we will continue with the proceedings. I thank you. Okay, committee, we will need to retire to the commission boardroom for one determination that is still before us.